Flesh and Blood versus Magic the Gathering.
Fight!
And this is just my thoughts on the game. Both games. I actually really like both games. Of course, Magic has been around for 1993. It is 2024 now, so 21 years. I'm not sure exactly when the beta of Flesh and Blood come out, but everybody tries to compare Flesh and Blood to Magic, and I just be honest with you, it's almost nothing like it. It is, and we can talk about it in the comment section below. Like, of course it's a card game. Of course it has some stuff that's familiar, but today I'm going to try my best to go over it, what I like about it, what I don't like about Flesh and Blood and Magic the Gathering. So I'm just getting out two decks here, two of my favorite decks. Of course, Monastery Swiftspear. No longer is no longer playable in Pauper, which sucks. So it's just kind of how it is. But the thing about I would say, if you guys are familiar with digital card games, Flesh and Blood feels more like Hearthstone to me. Almost. It's still not, but because Hearthstone you can always go face unless you have a card that automatically makes your creature, unless you have a creature that makes them attack before they hit your face. So I know when I ain't played Hearthstone in a while, so it could have changed by now, but you always had to have a creature that would make you attack it. So the reason I say Flesh and Blood's like Hearthstone is because you have to have a hero. And so my hero is Benji in this deck. If you guys, if you Magic players out there, Benji is a blitz only format. He doesn't have an adult meaning the constructed format. And Benji is very fast and basically unblockable, and I want to do a video on this too. Benji's basically unblockable with 2 or less attacks, and you can chain those attacks together is the goal with this ninja, and mostly all ninjas, but other ninjas you can actually block, unlike you can with Benji. So, what is the biggest difference to me? The big difference to me is that you always have your equipment cards, okay? You always have your weapons. You always have your equipment cards. This stuff never changes. So that's always the same in Flesh and Blood. And, of course, in Flesh and Blood, you draw after your turn, not before it. And you only draw how many your hero can get. So Benji has 4. I can only draw 4 or have the 4 cards in my hand. Of course, there's an arsenal stage and all of that. But this is kind of just comparing the two. There's not really a comparison. So, Magic, you're drawing 7 cards. You don't know if you're getting your land. You don't know if you're getting your best card. You don't know anything. You could have your, in Flesh and Blood, you could have your $85 or $70 to $85 Mask of Momentum in your armor, and then you always have that card. So, and the trouble with Magic is you can get completely screwed by mana. I know you guys have been mana screwed before. Let's see, I draw 5 cards, and I have like over 20 manas in this. Let's see, 6. So I drew 2 mana, so I didn't get screwed. According to this deck doesn't require a lot of mana, but that can happen. And I mean, obviously there's a chance in card games. There is luck in card games, obviously, unless you're stacking the deck and cheating. I mean, you're not going to get the card you want all the time. But the thing with Flesh and Blood is every card kind of matters. So you can, if this card is not going to team up this time, you could pitch it and maybe get it in another turn. You know, you could pitch it for the pitch cost. Yeah, of course, this costs 0, but maybe Ancestral Empowerment doesn't really help me this round. So I could pitch it and maybe get it back another turn, or I could arsenal it. Then I get another draw. The thing about Flesh and Blood is that you're drawing a lot more compared to Magic. So you're getting to play a lot more of your cards. You're taking a bigger chance getting a lot of your cards. So you're drawing 4, you're playing 4 pretty much, you're blocking 4. First turn, you're blocking 4, or you're trying to maybe, unless you got like the best hand ever for next turn, you're probably blocking. So that's that. Trying to go ways that Magic and Flesh and Blood's similar. I would almost suggest, and I've told everybody I've told since I've started playing Flesh and Blood, that you almost need to forget that you know how to play Magic to play Flesh and Blood, because it makes it more complicated, I think. Would you guys agree? If you're a Flesh and Blood player out there, do you think that knowing Magic makes this game a little bit more complicated? Not a lot, but it's like you're expecting to play. So other collectible card games, even Hearthstone, is more comparable to Magic than Flesh and Blood is compared to Magic. Now, the thing with Flesh and Blood is that you're always attacking, and then they got a defense of reaction. Then you got an attack reaction, then a defense, or you got a defensive point. That's how the fight works. So this feels more like a sparring match, like fist to fist, even though there is mages and stuff, but or wizards or whatever. This feels like two people fighting, and having a duel. Like Magic does feel more like creatures, like you're summoning creatures. You're not doing the fighting. You're actually, so you're playing a planeswalker in Magic, and you're casting these spells. Mostly you're a wizard. I mean, you're not having a fight. Like, I'm actually playing Benji. I'm attacking. And I want to do a video on Benji, because he's become one of my favorites and the most well-known heroes is Benji. But, I mean, if you're blocking with Benji, you're pretty much losing, because his blocks suck. At least it does in my deck. He's not made to block, so if I'm blocking, I'm pretty much losing. I want to end the game fast, and that's why I chose Benji. But I'm working on another deck. But anyway, I don't know what you guys think on YouTube here, but I don't think the games they're not comparable. Almost in any way. I mean, other than that they're a card game, collectible card game, there's not much to compare them to, other than you're casting, your spells or your attacks. You're attacking your attacks with pitch points instead of mana, and you don't have the mana every turn. So at least in Magic the Gathering, your mana sticks around whenever you draw it. But unlike Flesh and Blood, that's not the case. You might get a card that takes 6 pitch. Say, Benji, of course, not going to get a 6 pitch card, but if you're playing a big Brood or something, it takes 6 pitch points to even cast this spell. Then, that you're pitching your other 2 cards. Hopefully, they equal 3 or something, or you're using your armor, and that's the way you do big attacks. The games, I think, in my opinion, don't tread on each other whatsoever. Now, of course, Magic the Gathering is about, a million times more popular. I think Flesh and Blood has definitely found a niche, though. I think it has carved a little corner out of the collectible card game, and this was one of the games like I enjoy playing. It's enjoyed to collect for. And Magic the Gathering, of course, I love it. I've got a million cards of it, and I have cards from forever ago. And that's the thing about Magic. It's like the old cards really keep the game collectible more than the new cards anymore. Even though the old cards, since the Magic 30, has devalued a lot of the cards, but I don't see a game coming out anytime soon that's going to quote unquote dethrone Magic the Gathering. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think every card game wants to be Magic the Gathering, and they're just not. They just don't have the legacy or so many people know Magic the Gathering. It's been around forever. I mean, look at Pokemon. It's not even close to Magic the Gathering. In my opinion, it's more collected probably than Magic the Gathering, but I don't know if it's more played. I don't know. I've never looked up that. This ain't about Magic and Pokemon, but Magic the Gathering is the most searched card game of all time. It's just been around for so long, and Wizards is the one that created Pokemon. So, of course, they're similar. If you've ever played Pokemon, I would say another game that the only other game I think that kind of compares to Flesh and Blood is Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's only because of the Arsenal aspect. The rest, I've not played Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, so I don't really comprehend it 100%. I've played the digital game a little bit, but I mean, it's an okay game. I think Flesh and Blood dominates it, and it's very popular. That Konami game, Yu-Gi-Oh, and it has anime and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But when it comes to Flesh and Blood versus Magic the Gathering, I just don't see it. I did kind of at first, but now the more I've played Flesh and Blood, it feels nothing like Magic the Gathering. I hope I'm not alone out there in the internet, but I would love to know your guys' comments. What do you think? What's the most comparable thing between Magic and Flesh and Blood? I haven't come up with one other than their card game at this point. Now it's taken a while to play. I'm not brand new to it anymore, but it's a different game. It plays different. It feels different. You get down to like maybe your last action, and like that's life or death in this duel. Unlike Magic, your opponent could actually. I mean, of course, there's luck based, but it comes down to maybe the luck of the draw more in Magic than most, and then you get your special thing. You're doing the thing in your Magic the Gathering deck, and that's game over for the other player instantly. And you usually play best of 3, I guess, is the technical game you're supposed to play with Magic the Gathering, but you don't play best of 3 in this Blitz Armory. You go 1-on-1 and you go to the next one, which you do have a sideboard. You can set sideboard for Magic the Gathering. Like I said, I don't see much of a comparison at this point. You can pick up a Blitz deck, starter deck for Flesh and Blood at the Smith Dungery in Grayson, Kentucky if you want to for $12. And it's hard to even get a deck period for $12 in Magic the Gathering. I mean, I'm sure there's some but they're normally like $30-$40. So you can get started Flesh and Blood for $12 compared to Magic the Gathering that costs $40. I don't see any starter decks that's less than. I haven't seen any in a while. Now Commander decks is insane. Like you got way more formats in Magic the Gathering than you do Flesh and Blood, but that's just because the game's older, I guess, at this point. But we'll see what Flesh and Blood does in the next years. I hope you guys have had a good new year. It's 2024 here now. It's kind of crazy that it is 2024. I don't know when that happened, but it definitely did. But hopefully you guys are still liking the channel. Hopefully create more content this week. I've been sick, still trying to get over it, but if you guys want to, I have a tech channel too called techholler.com. You guys go check that out if you like technology and stuff. And this new year, we're going to focus on more gaming videos and more card videos. So hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you want to follow me more, be sure to join the Discord and follow me on Twitter at the Smango. And that's it for this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What's the most comparable thing between Magic the Gathering and Flesh and Blood? I would love to know. I'll see you guys next time.